DVDs and Blu-rays, they're a visual treat, but my wallet is crying. How will I afford to eat this week when I'm paying $65 for one movie? Cardboard slip covers are so neat, so cool, but the price tag's high. It knocks me off my feet. Whoa. Severing films, they got the goods, but sometimes the price just makes it scream. Factory, they'll take your money, but they don't care if your case is greasy. Slip covers and 4K, they promise something grand. Back gateways on Black Friday got me feeling bad. And the wait is never ending, cause it's Slippy's fall. Trick or treat release, it's taking too goddamn long. All I want is a movie night. Is that too much to ask? Overpriced bad movies I can't resist.
You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You can touch a god, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Hey, can you stop it? You're gonna find yourself. Standing in the Hall of Fame, yeah. And the world's gotta know your name, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It is that time of year again, baby.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. How you guys doing tonight?
The Hall of Fame.
It's always fun to do these shows. It seems like we never miss a beat, too, because I was like going back and checking which ones that we had done, because sometimes I can't remember that. Mm-hmm. And seriously, like you could edit both of those shows together. It's like the same damn show. And I'm sure this one will be the same way, but we're covering different movies tonight, right?
Well, that's good. I mean, it's got a formula, which is always a good thing. So that works. And it's funny because I posted, I think something about that Wicker Man set that made it into one of our Hall of Fames over the last couple of years. And somebody messaged me and said, "Oh, shoot, like what a great idea. I didn't know you guys did this. This is awesome. Like such a cool idea." So I sent him the playlist to say, "Hey, if you're, want to check out years 1 and 2 and come check out tonight." So it's cool. Like, I guess, people are still finding it, which is cool to see that people think it's a cool idea. Cause I think it is pretty cool to do.
Yeah, for sure. But we are creators. Well, so tonight we are getting the chats involved, both on the Born to Be Rad channel and the Dead Pit channel. You can vote twice if you want to, if you're that inclined. For the Hall of Shame for this year. And I know Uncle Bill's all excited about that.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea about that one. No doubt.
You think it's one-sided? Because you might be wrong.
Yeah, I think I know.
It's neck and neck, man. 51% to 49% right now.
I feel I have faith in the people.
So on my end, I can so again, you can vote on both channels. So if you want to throw in a vote on my channel, you can go to Born to Be Rad. If you're on my channel now and you want to vote over on the Dead Pit side, you can go to Dead Pit on YouTube as well. And on my end right now, it's a 70-30 split.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll have to go by total votes. We're going to be fair here. Okay. So whenever, towards the end of the show, and then that'll be the last item that we cover, whoever wins, and kind of talk about that release. But the two that we've got up here, it's between two. We wanted to keep it simple tonight. The Saw Bear Trap box set from Via Vision that I know our buddy Basement Blues was very happy when he received his box. What was it, like a year or two ago? And then
he sent it to me like as a present for Christmas. Son of a gun.
You still have it? Is it still
No, I
super
sent it
glued
back
together?
I sent it back to him.
You didn't even want it for free.
No, what is it? No, Indian give would if he asked for it back, right? So we used to call it. We used to take the old
Indian
take back.
giver. And
I
then
don't,
the other
think, I don't
one,
think we can say that anymore.
You can't say it anymore. It's
the Guardian
you-
giver.
it's
Replace
the
it with
indigenous,
Guardian.
the indigenous people giver. That's what you got to
Oh,
do.
all right.
You could do Guardian too.
Yeah, the Guardians.
Well, I
You
sent
can-
it back to him. I didn't want that swill in my collection. I couldn't do
And
it.
back over these parts right here is the other one. Nightmare on Elm Street, the collection from Warner Brothers. I don't know of a box set that just its existence and the way it, is hated by so many.
Hmm.
It just sucks, man. Like,
Very lackluster of a set for such
Yeah.
a good franchise. Yeah.
and you can get it for about $15 if you want to. It's the sad part.
I mean, it's looking like you might as well get it.
Yeah.
Carter Dention with a $5 super chat. Any consideration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the MGM DVD release? The one where Dennis Hopper was like,
Is that just where he's the? I saw that earlier out there when I was looking for other stuff. Like he's got the chainsaw just on the cover of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I'm in such a weird place right now with physical media. Like I'm like in this weird realm of like I'm not buying much new stuff like right now. Like every now and then I'll buy stuff instead of before where it was like I was jumping on everything. I'm going back and buying all this weird obscure shit. Like I want that back in my collection. I think I sold that a long time ago, but I'm like something so stupid. Like I want that back. Like I don't know what it is. I've been like on this weird rabbit hole of just going back in time and grabbing all these like weird additions on stuff. Strange. Like I'm like a 180.
I mean, I
What's
kind
going
of
on right
understand that. Like, it's the feeling like, and I was sending you a link earlier, and I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but it was a vintage release that was sealed, right? And it's probably something we shouldn't buy.
Oh God!
But at the same time, I'll say, hey, to Prince Puffin, baby, and Prince Ikea. But it takes us back to that, 20, 25 years ago, whenever it was started collecting the physical media. And you just get a little bit giddy about that sort of stuff, I guess.
100%. Like at first when you sent it to me, I was like, is he telling me he's going to buy this? Because I'm about to pull the trigger like right now.
I thought it
But
was
I
a
would-
good
I didn't-
price.
I didn't want to
not.
swipe it if your plan was to get it. I was like,
No.
what's all I need for him to be like, did you just buy it, you son of a bitch? I was showing you to show you what I wanted, But I'll probably
No, if it was me, I would have sent it after I bought it. That's how I play.
all right.
But
He used to
if
that
you
shit to
want
me
it-
all the time. Like he'd tell you
Go
about
for it.
something, but he'd already like bought it. Yeah.
One of
Did
the
you ever
meanest
hear
one of the meanest things that I ever did too. This is how I was. And I think Uncle Bill eventually got a copy of this poster. I think it was the Night of the Creeps poster. Wasn't that right, Uncle Bill? The video poster. I think that was the one.
Is it the
I
one
don't
where he's
know.
at
I don't
the
know what you're
door,
gonna
like,
say,
at
but I've
the
got
You
window?
were
it.
looking, we were both looking for it for a long time. And I was like, he'd always come down here and watch some wrestling with me or whatever. And then after wrestling, I was like, hey man, I want you to come in here and look at this.
Oh, fuck,
Right.
I remember this.
You
too,
remember
yeah.
this? Yeah. This is this is before the Dead Pit show, I think. And I was like, man, ain't that killer or whatever? And then eventually he looked around and he's like, you motherfucker. It was in a frame. I had it in a
He already
frame.
framed it and everything. Like we've been looking for it
my
forever.
God. Well, there's a similar story. I listened to the Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins podcast they do, and they're like been best friends since college. And they met in college and both really were into action figures. And of course, they wrestling action figures. So they started to hang out, and they each thought that they became good friends because they're like, all right, we're college kids that collect wrestling figures, and they were looking for like these specific figures. And I guess Zack Ryder, aka Matt Cardona, found them at the store, or they went to the store or something, but they were late for class. And then he ended up calling and they said, oh, after class, we're going to come back and get these. The whole set's here. Okay, perfect. So when they went to class, Matt called his dad and said, hey, they have these figures over at Toys R Us or whatever. Go buy them for me. We hid them like up in the like up on the top shelf or something. So the dad went and got them. So when they all went back to get them, they were gone from where the hiding spot that they hid them. And he played it off like what the hell? Someone found him and swiped him. And on the podcast, he told him like 20 years later that he had his dad go while they were in class and buy them all for him. And the guy's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, that's a
Man.
that's a long time to wait for something like that.
There's so many stories like that I would have about like us in the, what would it be in like the mid to late 90s, going to like just different Kmart's and Targets and stuff like that, trying to find those Jax figures like that, which turned out to be the shittiest figures of like all time. But like we were
They're
obsessed
collectible
with, like,
again, though.
Yeah,
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the Bone Cruncher ones.
yeah. We were
Oh,
obsessed
I
with
went
getting
through a
like
period-
all of those.
I went through a period with those too, where my uncle and I would like meet up on Saturday and we'd drive around and try to find like a bunch of. I remember one time I was like, "They've got Taka!" I was so excited because I found like Taka
Michinoku, yeah.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about this though? Like, did you go back to like the very first year they started making the Jax figures? And then we'll get into this because people don't care about this shit.
Oh yeah.
But didn't it seem like they paid a little bit more attention to detail in the first series or the first couple of series?
No, actually, it's the total opposite.
That's what I was thinking too.
They actually paid no attention to detail. That like there would like there's so many variants because they just kept like they would just put any parts in any guy. So like for instance, my Michaels had like I have one Michaels with red pants that had like gold dust like cowboy boots on. And I remember for the longest time I thought I had like this rare figure because I'm like, why does my Shawn Michaels have like cowboy boots on in this one? And my friend had the same Shawn Michaels with like regular boots. Then there's other ones we can get with like, you know, you get like Shawn Michaels with like Vader legs and it like he looks really tiny. Like it was a mess. That first two lines were a mess because they used to just swap and paint parts for like
The worst one by far though was Stone Cold, because like you had Stone Cold without a shirt, but then you had like the same one, but it had like one shirt on, like the blue skull shirt. Then you had another one with another, like the red shirt. Like then you had the other Stone Cold with the vest, but they're all the same figure and everything. They just kept like putting other shirts and crap on him, and like I bet they made millions of dollars off that. Just, I mean, it's just so easy. They just had the same mold and they just kept switching around shirts.
And with all the
like
guys, like, you know, Brett, it's like, oh, there's a new Brett. It's the same figure, except the singlet's just all pink this time. It's like there was nothing changed but the paint, right? But then you'd go nuts because you're like, oh my God, it's a new Brett, new colors and stuff. And
they had like a weird one-off, like Maximum Sweat. Somebody was mentioning that. I remember that.
You remember the ones that were like
Stomp?
They swam or something like that? Was it? Oh yeah, Stomp.
Yeah.
That's what
it was. The Stomp Series 2 or whatever. Like, the aquatic ones.
The aquatic. Yeah.
They would have one where you put all these weapons and stuff on them. I remember that everybody wanted the Pillman because it came with a gun or whatever. So like from that series, that was the hot one that everybody wanted.
I wanted to give a loud shout out to Sam Bibley because he's wanting some attention, Bulls. We're not ignoring you, Sam. We're just talking wrestling. We ain't really paying much attention to anybody.
How are you, Sam? Yeah, thank you everybody for being in here. I know we can get into wrestling, go on a tangent. Everybody's going to be like, I thought we were going to talk about physical media. So we'll change avenues here and go back to what we wanted. But damn, this is a show we could just do on like an Up All Night and just bullshit about these old wrestling stories because we do have people in here that would probably love to hear it, but I know it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
we could do a wrestling figure show at some point, probably.
100%.
I'm sure Uncle Bill still. Do you have any of that shit?
I've got all of it. I've still got all of it.
Well, you don't have it.
Are they loose or carded?
They're carded. I never took any of that stuff out of it.
Wow, that's actually really impressive. I have a lot of carded right in front of me, but it's mostly the new Mattel stuff, and then I have like a lot of the Jax classics, like when they started doing like the retro guys. I have a lot of carded of that, like right here. But then I have a whole trunk full of loose Hasbros and loose Jax.
I've got a suitcase full of loose Hasbros, and I've got a couple carded Hasbros. I've got an Undertaker carded that's never been opened. I've got a Razor Ramon that's never been opened.
You should probably look those up.
Hasbros are probably one of the most valuable wrestling figures you can have, loose or mint.
That's like that. The LJN stuff is just exploded too. Like I cannot believe how much that shit's worth. Like that Hogan one back there that's still in the card. I've got it in like acrylic case. It's like over $1,000 last time I looked.
Yep.
But anyway, no more wrestling figure talk. Let's do like some shout outs and then we'll get started with the first edition of the 2014 Horror Media Hall of Fame, boys. We want to talk about it. B MAGA 123 is in the house. Black Peter. Uncle Bill loves Black Peter. Card Interdention, Johnny Darko, Ronnie Thrillsat. Now that's a new one.
I like that. What up, Ronnie?
Eli Cortez, the mayor, Reverend Ross. He's watching you, Uncle Bill. He's going to be praying for you. Hopefully, we don't use a whole lot of foul language tonight. From the dear Reverend. Peter Sweller, Hall and Oates, Justin Smith, Jackson Jack, Sam Bibley. My accent is thick. I am from deep in the holler of Eastern Kentucky.
Holler.
So yeah, Brandon S. I've probably repeated some of these names by now, but welcome everybody. Melody is in here. Welcome, My Killer Podcast, Melody Felcher, A-Dub. So who wants to go first? What are we doing tonight, boys?
Well, the way this kind of works is we each have 2 inductees this year. So we're going to get our classes are usually about 6, with the Hall of Shame being 7. So,
Tell me, sir.
yeah, it's crazy in this chat right now.
Do you want
But I
me to
guess
go?
I can go with the first one. So the first inductee into the 2024 Horror Physical Media Hall of Fame is going to be something that I recently just added to my collection because of a dear subscriber who watched my video, and I mentioned that this was a grail piece that I wanted in my collection that I never owned. And sure enough, he sent it to me, and it is one of my favorite physical media pieces in my collection, and I want to talk about it tonight, and that is going to be the VHS box set,
Ooh, baby.
Nightmare on Elm Street. So very, very cool, this Nightmare on Elm Street collection. You know, this along with the DVD collection, which was already nominated, I think, on year 1, where they have like the silhouette of Freddy with all the different discs. This is the same idea, except it's with the VHS tape. So this definitely had to be in the collection and in the Hall of Fame. It's got a little price tag on the back.
$19.99. Where's the price tag from?
$19.99. It looks like FYE or something, or maybe even like that. Almost to me looks like FYE or Suncoast.
Suncoast would be killer if it was from Suncoast.
There's no name on it, but this has got to be in the Hall of Fame, baby.
I would have no arguments with that.
I don't either. Let me tell you a funny story about that too. And I swear to God, this made me maddest I've been in a while. I went to our local, like one of our local, whatever you want to call it, nostalgia shop / like video game shops. It's called Gaming Co. in Pikeville. And they had that set used, but they had it. And some asshole had bought the first one. They had it set up where like
you could buy them individually.
Yeah, you could buy them individually, but it was set up like the way that looks with the arms out and everything. And somebody had bought part 1 and left all the rest of them. I was like,
what kind of price did they have on them individually?
$5 a piece, I think.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess that's not too bad.
And I was just like, man, like really annoying. I probably would have bought that if they'd had.
But this is Eastern Kentucky, though. I'm not too shocked at that.
But yeah, that's.
You know what's wild about this is this was on clearance. It looked like, because it says regular price $59.99, and then it's crossed out and it says $19.99. So that is interesting that this, $19.99 for this was a freaking steal and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Even back then, you'd think.
Now, for me, I had the VHS set first. I think my dad got that for me for Christmas one year. What year did that come out? Like 99, I think, maybe.
This did?
I think the VHS may have came out a month or 2 after the DVD set.
99.
Nowadays, they would have come out the exact same day, but this sort of thing was new then. But I had that and sold it at a yard sale one year. I wish to God I still had the set. If anybody out there has it, wants to part with it, let me know. I would like to have it.
That might be my favorite set of anything Nightmare on Elm Street. Just the way it's designed and everything too. It's just awesome.
Well, and the price point on these now are ridiculous too, because not that long ago they were still like $30 or $40, and now they're like close to $100 a set now.
Yeah.
And the DVD set's not really worth anything. You can get it cheap.
which I still think is a cool set to get if you don't have it.
It really is.
Get that Blu-ray set for a nickel and a cup of coffee.
Well, you got to think. I mean, it's over 25 years old, and that's still the definitive Nightmare on Elm Street box set. That DVD set, and that's just the VHS counterpart too. So, artwork and everything on that VHS is killer.
Oh,
What are you laughing at?
Just the comments, man.
The chat's going wild in here, and I can't even keep up with it. Number one,
I knew it was going to be like this, but yeah, you never really prepared.
You people, I swear.
How dare you make fun of such a serious situation?
Yeah, Justin Smith, I would appreciate it though. Yeah, that would be very cool. As you can tell, I need more stuff. There's extras on the VHS tapes as well. I think after the movie, there's interviews or whatever else on each of those. Am I correct in remembering that? I think it's on the back of the tapes.
What?
Yeah, there's little bonus features on the back of the VHSs. I don't think that they did that a whole lot back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to mess with it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't want to touch it too much. Don't even look at it, Garrett.
Well, no, a part of me is thinking like, do you ever see when somebody posted a thing a long time ago where they put Goldberg's picture in the middle, like the VHS? Have you guys seen that?
Yeah,
I've
with his
seen that.
head in the yeah.
So what you do is you would take out part 4, and then you'd get Fall Brawl VHS, and you'd put it in so it looks like it's Goldberg, like with his arms out. And I'm like, I was just looking at that, and I'm like, I should try to get that Fall Brawl poster.
I think I have that. I'm almost positive I've got that somewhere.
That's so funny.
So yeah, the first inductee, the Nightmare on Elm Street, Warner Brothers, they did some good back in the day. You would never think that now. I don't know what's going on with them, but that may have been New Line back then. Maybe that was what was going on. But Uncle Bill, do you want to go next or me? What do you wanna do?
I'll go next. That's fine. So the one that I have is one that Garrett let me borrow, and I've had it for a long time. And this should be a piece of anybody's collection, I think. This is the DVD that was one of Garrett's favorites. They let me have the White Slave Collection. I don't know, like, why he's into that, but
What the hell? Where
that's
did
what
you
I'm
find it?
nominating for.
I wish
You
I had
sure you
video
didn't get that from
of-
Steve?
This is one of Garrett's favorites from back in the
I wish
day.
I had a video of you rummaging through that storage closet, whatever you were doing
You need
today,
to make a video of that. Yeah.
finding all these goods.
Listen, you know this is your favorite collection.
Yeah, you wouldn't have this problem if you finished that addition you're putting on the room. Everything would be on shelves.
That's
You
true.
wouldn't
I
have-
could like display everything.
Yeah.
This is from Bloody Earth Films, by the way. I don't even know. I don't even remember
Oh
that
my
company
God.
at all. But yeah, that's not the real one though. I was just kidding around about that. It should be.
Son
but
of a
it's not.
gun, you.
The real one is this beast, which just came out not too long ago. I think it was last year.
Woo! Wow, that thing is a new release. Got right into the Hall of Fame, baby.
I think that it deserves it, and I'll show you why here in a second. So this is the Arrow Video, Enter the Video Store, Empire of Screams. And when this thing came out, I was like kind of skeptical about it. Like, how would it be, because other companies have put stuff like this out, but because it's Arrow, I should have known. A lot of these had never been released before. A couple of these had never been released. One of them was out of print for sure, not on Blu-ray anyway. And one of them had been out of print forever on Screen Factory. So when I got this, I was like, oh, holy shit, this is amazing. Also, all of the discs have new like 2K restorations, which is insane too. So
And it was very affordable too, right? It was.
It was like when I got it, it was $60 something because it was on sale. At that time. They put it on sale like at least 2 or 3 different times too, by the way.
That's the big box set, which is out of print.
That's the original. There's like they came out with a second one, which is the box is a different shape.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
smaller.
this is the first. I know this is the first one because I got like right when it came out.
Mm.
So you push it through this little thing here. Take the slip cover off. It's got a giant slip cover. Then you open the top, and you've got
Look at how nice that is.
Robot Jocks, Arena, Cellar Dweller, Dolls, and Dungeon Master, along with a booklet. That's killer as well.
Oh yeah,
That
Arrow
talks
Video
about-
Magazine.
That's cool, man. They got to do a follow up to this thing.
I think
maybe just do a different color or something. And
Yeah, I think they will. I think it did really well, so I'm pretty sure they'll do it.
Well, here's the thing, though. Could they do the video store for some other label? Because this one is just called the Arrow Video. The Empire Screams. They could call it something else, or Enter the Video Store or something like that. That's what
They
it's called.
could.
Right?
Yeah, this is the one I was really trying to get because I hadn't seen this movie in forever, and it had been out of print on Screen Factory for God knows how long, which was Dolls.
indoors.
Yeah, that movie
But-
actually still holds up.
Cellar Dweller is amazing too. I was never a huge sci-fi guy, so like Arena and Robot Jocks, I didn't give a shit about as much as like.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
transfers on
great.
all these looked really, really good, though.
Yeah, that was
They
the other
do.
part about it. Yeah.
And a lot of those movies, I mean, I'm not super familiar with Empire Pictures and Charles Band, but a lot of the other editions of those were like really, really crappy DVD quality almost. So this is the first time a lot of those had gotten a proper restoration in HD.
Mhm.
Might as well just like show some of the other ones too while I'm at it. Dungeon Master.
That's sweet, dude.
That cover is killer though. I'm good in that.
And they probably have reversible artwork too with like the original. I know
I'm
Arrow's
sure.
good for that. They do that quite a bit.
So that is the Arrow Video, literally a box set.
It's interesting how that came together, though, because Charles Band is still releasing his own stuff on, his label, which they don't really do much restoration to it. But I wonder how that all came together.
Dude. I mean, Charles Band would if Arrow came to him with some money and like, hey, we want the rights to this, he would be like, go ahead, take it. And it saves him from having to do it, right? Like, I'm sure if that's how it's working, because I mean, he's still putting out some new stuff, and he's restoring some of his old stuff because I have it. But I think when it comes down to it, titles like that, like Scream Factory had a lot of those titles first. Obviously, Arrow had them. So I'm sure he's just, like John said, I'm sure anybody that comes to him that's like, hey, can we buy the rights for this for a little while? He's going to take the money.
Oh, yeah. We all know he loves money.
Nobody loves money more than him except maybe Lloyd Kaufman.
I wanted to bring. Go
But
ahead, sorry.
people always put Full Moon and Troma in the same category, but Full Moon is a lot, in my opinion, a lot better than Troma for me. What would you guys rather watch? Like when you look at your collections and you look at because I always feel that people kind of lump those two together.
Sorry, I just got a comment.
It's I mean, it's really tough for me. I think Charles Band, like if you count the stuff that he produced as well, it would probably be his stuff. Empire Pictures stuff isn't too bad. I think when the Full Moon features and all that stuff started, like that's really close with what Trauma was doing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a Troma guy. I've always kind of like their stuff better. I don't know. Like I just enjoy like stupid, senseless. I've always feel like Full Moon is cheap, but they were trying to be like a little bit more serious and classy than Troma, and Troma was
That's probably
just
why
trying
I
to be
like it. Because like when I get to
goofy.
Troma and it's like it gets to a point where it's just like throwing shit at a wall randomness, I'm kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah, I agree, but that's what I kind of prefer.
Real quick
But
here,
then-
wanted to give a shout out before I forget to Dino.
Dino
Jaskowski. Did I pronounce that correct? Garrett, you can pronounce those names.
Dino
Better than me.
Jaskowski.
What's up, Garrett, Uncle Bill, and the Creepy Kentuckian? I hit the like button on Born to Be Rad and jumping over to the Dead Pit to hit their like as well. You know what you can also do while you're doing that is vote for which release gets in the Hall of Shame this year. We have polls up on both channels. There's a lot of people voting, and it's pretty on the Dead Pit channel. It's pretty tight.
What's the percentage right now?
We have the Bear Trap collection from Via Vision, the Saw movies, 51%. The Nightmare on Elm Street 2011 set you see back there is 49%. So it's still pretty close on the Dead Pit channel.
All right,
How is it over there?
Saw Trap box set 67%. Nightmare on Elm Street 33%. It's a little bit of a bigger lead here.
So
for,
the
Saw.
the Saw collection is overall winning right now.
I mean, one of them did fall apart when you got it. And then like
Before it
busted.
got to you, really.
Yeah.
It was
So,
in pieces in the box.
I kind of get that.
All right, so I got to go back there, boys, if just for a day. And I'm going all the way back with this release to 1994. This is the very first release that Don May Jr. had any part of when he was working with Vinnie Bancalari. And they formed Elite Entertainment. This was the very first release that they did. Came out the exact same day as that Halloween Criterion set that we inducted in the first year. This one's a fucking beast.
That's
The
a banger.
25th anniversary of the Night of the Living Dead collector's edition. The very first time they remastered this movie at all was 93, 94 when they were working on it. It's loaded up with special features as well. 2 different commentary tracks, I think, is on it. Interviews. And this 94. What were you guys doing in 1994?
Let me ask you guys this question really quick. When someone asks you what you were doing in 1994, what's the first thing that comes to your mind to try to connect the dates? Do you guys have like a specific thing that you do to try to figure out where you were at that point in time? Because I have one thing that I do every single time someone asks me that question. I think of what's going on in wrestling, and then I go
I
from
knew
there.
you were going to say that. But,
It's true. The first thing when he said 94, I'm like, okay, Lex and Brett just won the Royal Rumble. Where the hell was I? Right? Like, that's what my brain does. And then I think, okay, I was in middle school. Right. So it's just interesting that that's where my head goes.
I think of
right
Chuck
away.
Norris at the Survivor Series.
That was November 94. Yeah. And he was kicking his way with Yoko for sure.
But I was trying to get with Don May. I hope everything's all right. I didn't hear anything back from him. So this came out the same day, the exact same day as that Halloween Criterion set. So those 2 releases are more than likely the first special editions ever for any type of horror movie. And it's weird that they came out the same day. You know, loaded up 2-disc laser disc. Both of those were gatefolds. I always love the gatefolds here. There's liner notes from George Romero, Stephen King, and Sam Raimi. And you can see a big color photo. There's a couple of them.
What
There's
a beautiful
one-
release that is, man.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. And the smaller picture there is the reunion. I guess it was the first reunion that they did in 93 when they recorded they did a cast commentary, and then they did a separate commentary with the director. So let's see. Okay, so I'll see it on here. First commentary track with George Romero, John Russo, Carl Hardman, and Marilyn Eastman. And the second commentary track has the rest of the cast pretty much. Bill Hensman, Judith O'Day, Keith Wayne, who I think killed himself like a year after this release. Kyra Shawn, Russ Streiner, and Vince Cervinsky. What a name. But yeah, beautiful release. One of the very few laser discs that I've held on to over the years. I came a hair taking this and trying to get it signed, but man, I don't know.
I think you should get it framed and put it up somewhere.
Yeah, it would look killer.
Yeah, it is. You can't really tell in that picture, but that is a color photo too for the cover.
Looks great.
Well, this shit's never going to end tonight. I can already tell by this chat.
But yeah, Elite Entertainment though was really the first company to do special editions for, and I don't know if people realize this, years before Anchor Bay was even around, which they would do VHSs first and then DVDs.
You guys
But
are-
Man, I'm
they
going
were
to turn
doing-
the chat off because I'm not going to be able to do this.
I just focus on the screen. I try not to watch the chat.
I'm just looking at something.
Uncle Bill's glued to the chat right now.
But yeah, I mean, they would go on to do Reanimator, Maniac, Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a Killer Texas Chainsaw Massacre that they did. And this was like in 94, 95, 96. So Elite Entertainment was like the top dog as far as genre laser discs at the time. So And when this came out, the retail price, guys, you guys want to guess the price on this thing in 1994 now?
Laser discs, man, they were so out of my league. I don't even know if they existed in my world. So therefore, I'm thinking they were probably way too expensive for me to even be looking at nor know where to find them. I don't know, $60, $70.
I'm gonna say
go ahead.
I was gonna say 100.
$89.99.
Wow.
Now for 1994 though, man, that's a lot. That's a lot of money, really. I mean, if you go back
Sure
and
is. It's a lot of money now for a single edition. Like
somebody go to one of those sites and convert, like, what do they call those sites where you can convert time with what a price was or whatever, and say how much that is today, up converted or
the
whatever.
Adjusted price or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
adjusted price. It's the first I've ever heard about this, but I'm interested because if something was $80 now and that was what 30 years later, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's $90, $89.99.
God bless.
That's a lot of money, man. I mean, you got to be a real
You had to be,
cinephile.
I was gonna say you had to be like a serious collector. That's like you had to be like Don May Jr. at that time to even think about buying that. And I bet there wasn't that many people that were really like on that level at that time.
Probably not, but I mean, you know, this will be something maybe we can talk to Don May about next time we get him on. Is just how many were produced initially. I mean, the costs and everything. I think that they ended up becoming really popular because they did a whole lot more. They did big box sets. There's a huge Night or Dawn of the Dead set that they did that's really freaking cool that I never did get, but I think that one was like $200 or something when it came out.
Yeah. But really quick, oh wow, $188.61. That's amazing.
For one movie.
Jesus,
Holy
man. Think about how much inflation that is too. Like that's over double.
I know, but I mean, just think about like if you were buying Laserdiscs back in 1994, like you were kind of a baller at that point, for real. Like some of those people that were buying that stuff at that time were like they were huge cinephiles, like collectors and stuff. Like it just like I said, I own one Laserdisc. It's crazy.
Well, essentially, for those that don't know, which hell fuck you guys, I don't know if I ever play it again anyway. But essentially it's like a vinyl record. But it's a big CD. So you can see the Night of the Living Dead logo there, Elite Entertainment and all that. And the way these worked, there's like there were some discs that were 30 minutes on each side, and then you flipped it after 30 minutes, and there was some that was an hour on each side, and you had to flip it.
I'm like, watching him hold that thing, all you see is like a mirror. I'm like, I would die if all of a sudden you see like his pecker or something, like he's got no pants on.
Look at that, boy. It's a vortex.
Imagine it just caught like something weird. You're like,
I don't have any pants on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I was waiting to catch something weird in that reflector.
Well, hopefully it magnified everything if that were to happen.
Oh my god, that's funny.
People have brought up two different ones on here that I actually thought about, but we're trying to keep it horror centered. So somebody brought up the Conan set, and I'm like, yep. I mean, I probably would have, but this is like only horror related stuff. And somebody else brought up Freeway, which is one that I just talked to CK about earlier. I was like, is that considered horror? And we were like,
Freeway is like, I don't know. It's kind of icky.
Horror adjacent.
Really. Yeah, horror adjacent.
I mean, I would say the Warriors would be a contender, but that's the same thing. There's no, it's not horror. I would personally say the Mario set from Umbrella would be a contender, but it's not horror. So therefore, we got to be a little bit more limited on what we do choose. For this.
Drive 4K is a killer one too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other ones that are not horror related that I would put on here, but this is only strictly horror related.
Reverend asked if we have FOMO with specific releases. I will say I do, 100%.
Do you guys think though, like, if we were this age now in 1994, do you think you would be collecting Laserdiscs? Would that be what you would go for, or would you be?
I would probably say, besides the money aspect of it, I mean, if you're a huge collector and stuff, I'd almost think like I probably would be. I would just be hoping that we're not getting as many releases as we are now when it comes to certain things. But it's looking at the same way. At that point, that was the best case scenario for home video as far as the quality. the getting special features. I mean, it was the top dog. So that's like saying, that we've still never touched 4K in 2024. It's like everybody has, and that's kind of the standard more or less now. So I would say yes, but I mean, man, $89.94 is crazy money back then.
Well, what I'm thinking, if you're talking about like the way that physical media was in 1994, I don't even know if anybody was really thinking about collecting physical media at that time. Like it, there was
Well,
no FOMO, and there was no like companies doing except for
yeah,
Anchor,
of course.
maybe not even
But
Anchor Bay at that.
the thing is too, if you were in the mix though, I don't know. Like I have a friend whose father, when I met him, was a movie collector, and he had so many laser discs. Like, and I'd never seen anything like it. It's the first time I'd ever seen laser discs. This guy had a collection of them. I met this kid in probably 2000. So I don't know when his dad was collecting or whatever, but it is interesting to just think about, if there were people collecting back then, was there something that they knew that we didn't? Was it newsletters? Was it, were there
Probably.
things kind of like what we're seeing now with social media? Did they have like their own little underground collector something?
Well,
I
like
don't.
the only thing I can compare that to that I know of would be Boogie, because he was doing that. We're talking about that would have been 97 or 98.
He had a mail order list, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a mail order list of he was a trader, like a tape trader, and he would sell and trade like VHS tapes, and I'm assuming
We're
probably laser
talking
discs and things like
a
that
lot of
too.
bootleg tapes too, though, right? It were their official.
There
There
was
were
there a
some
lot.
that
There was some bootlegs and a lot of official just VHS tapes and stuff too. So I know there was a underground kind of like scene for that. I probably in the same way there was for like cassette tapes of metal
Right.
bands and stuff like that. So because there were dudes that at least he that I knew that did it. So yeah, that probably was a thing. Now that I think about it,
Christian is big into laser discs. Like that's kind of odd. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
because
he's one of the for his age, because he's what 31, 32 years old.
yeah, he's about 10 years younger than us. Yeah.
yeah.
Very interesting. I'll say that he collects that. Real quick super chat here,
What up,
Canadian
Mike?
$5. I just
Nice.
ordered Love Lies Bleeding 4K A24 exclusive, 97 Australian dollars.
Good lord.
Oof. I was gonna say I'm actually considering buying that, but when I saw 97, I'm like, oh no, but that's Australian dollars.
See, I thought about buying Intruder because but then I was like, why would I buy? I mean, like Synapse already put out the Blu-ray of that. Like, it's a
Mhm.
Blu-ray. Like, the only reason you'd buy that would be for the stuff that comes with it, because I
Right.
guarantee you the picture quality's not gonna be any better. Like,
No,
And
if it was a 4K, I would have got it because I love that movie. But a Blu-ray, you're right. Like Synapse does such a great job. I don't see the movie looking any better. I haven't had a chance to look and see like what are the features. I saw it comes with a bunch of cards and stuff, but I mean, I haven't had a chance to really dive deep into what Umbrella announced today. But
but
it is interesting. It's a great movie.
before we move on though, from this, I'm guessing this is the only Laserdisc that's going to be on the show this year. If you're curious about picture quality, the only way I can kind of explain what Laserdisc look like today is if you put one of the very early DVDs in your player and watched it. Like the gimmick with Laserdiscs is it's the first way you could digitally watch a movie. A lot of them weren't even widescreen at first. Like that was the thing for, after the format had been rolling for a few years. But yeah, I actually saw Laserdisc back when they were still semi-relevant. I think probably around 94, 95. A buddy of mine had one of his friends left a Laserdisc and a Laserdisc player and a bunch of Laserdiscs at his house. And we were watching this, and I remember back then, I think it was Terminator 2 was the Laserdisc that we were watching. And I was like, this doesn't even look natural. What? Because up to that point, you had cable, and cable could only look so good. So it's interesting how things have moved along since then. So digital picture was the big thing initially. Then it was, is it in widescreen? I could see it in widescreen. And then it went from just being about the movie to being about the extras. And now it's not just about the extras, it's about the packaging. I just think it's interesting, like how, you know, the 3 decades since Laserdiscs or whatever, and it's not even really, nobody even cares about the movie itself, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I had never, and I don't even know if I've ever watched anything on a Laserdisc ever. I don't think. But so I don't know the difference between, how that must have looked from a VHS to a Laserdisc, right? But I will say, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off what Jackson said here, is that I thought from DVD to Blu-ray was a huge change in how I saw a movie and the quality. It almost felt like someone was walking around with a camcorder, like recording the movie. Like it was mind blowing to me. It took me a while to get used to the way these Blu-rays looked in comparison to the DVD quality that I've known for so long. But I don't get that same feeling with the Blu-ray to 4K. Like I don't get that same feeling of, wow, this looks way different than I've ever seen this movie. And that's just me. And I've mentioned this a lot of times, and people usually just tell me I have a shitty setup, which I don't really understand how that's the case, because
people love to say that though. Anyway,
it's like
to get the most, you've got to spend $10,000
like
on your...
a 2-year-old OLED TV. So I don't know.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
get rid of it.
But you got old shitty Toshiba. You ought to know better than that.
The only things I do notice is when things are color corrected or things are maybe just a little too smooth. I've noticed that. But I mean, as far as the way the movie looks to me, the depths and all that, it doesn't take that jump that DVD to Blu-ray did for me. And, I don't know if that's the same feeling you guys got when you watched Blu-ray for the first time, or maybe you I see a little bit of an uptick. Or, when CK was saying he watched Laserdisc from VHS and how it was such a weird experience watching these movies.
I think that I look at it the same way. I think Felsher said something like this, but I kind of agree with him, where it's like the jump from VHS to DVD was like insane. Like when DVDs first started to become a thing, and you were like, you no longer had to worry about like them looking, faded and worn out over time, depending on how many times you played them and things like that. That was a completely like new idea, and they looked like 1,000 times better than VHS tapes in that way. And then Blu-ray by about half that, I thought. Like, so it looked like 500 times better than DVD. But I don't see that, like you said, as much with like 4K. I see a little bit of change, especially it depends on who the person is that did the Blu-ray. Like I can see a very minimal change in Blue Underground stuff when I watch like their, Blu-rays versus their 4Ks. It's like a very small, but when I watch like, let's say like a Warner Brothers or a major companies like Blu-ray, and then something that somebody that gets from like Vinegar Syndrome, now you can definitely tell a bigger difference, like because these people actually care and they kind of know what they're doing. But I don't know, it's not nearly as much as it was like going from VHS to Blu-ray or anything like that. There's no way.
I think the studios themselves are playing tricks on the fans because they know how, I can't say it any nicer, they're fucking crazy. How crazy some of these people are with the collectors out there. A lot of these movies that Vinegar Syndrome is coming out with and debuting in 4K, there's not really a point. Was there really a point to have Flesh Eater in 4K?
I mean, I don't think there's a point, but I mean, I
know what the point is.
He's going to defend.
I mean,
Flesh Eater. Here it comes.
I think it looks a lot better than the other edition I had, which was the DVD. Did I think it was necessary? No, but it is interesting to see that they put that much love and affection to certain titles like this.
I have nothing against that, but I just think like a lot of the times they put it on 4K so they can upcharge a little bit more. And Severin is the same way. We've been very kind to Severin over the last, this past year because I think they've had a hell of a year. But there's a lot of that stuff, man. Kathy's Curse doesn't need being for. Where was the demand having a great alligator in 4K?
Because it's the great alligator. Oh, do you want to play the game?
You ready?
Do it. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what.
Put your box on the spot, boss.
It's a light off.
Slowly.
What the?
Uncle Bill wins.
Oh, Garrett's is working. Now here's going to be the fun part. Let's get it to go off.
I can't.
CK took himself out of the fucking chat. What the fuck?
What the hell?
Goddamn bulls. Hold on. He needs to get his ass back in here. What you doing? Get in here.
We'll
Quit
do
doing
this
that.
all night long if that's what's gonna happen. Uh-oh, she's pissed. Ah!
Let's see what happens if I try to close it. No, nothing's gonna happen. This is gonna stay on. Well, we just gotta. What is? Well, I don't think that's $500. I think it's 500 something else.
500 SEK.
I don't
Not
care what it
sure.
is. I like
Bookhouse Boy 77, old school
Oh,
the number
YouTuber,
looks good to me.
buddy of
Look here.
mine from way
It's
back.
got the Roger Rabbit eyes, like when he takes. What's the guy's name, Garrett? Like the villain.
Oh, Doom.
Yeah, when he like shows his face as a cartoon.
Oh yeah, where he says, "What did he say?" And I talk just like this. Oh, wow, wow, wow. That one.
I can't. We'll never get it. Oh shit! It's off. Okay, what do I do?
What?
I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna put it over here.
How do I
Get
do
your
it?
refrigerator magnet.
You need. I'm telling you, get a refrigerator magnet.
I got
Put
one
it-
right here. It didn't work.
It didn't work. Put it over the eye and leave it for like 3 seconds.
They should have the way they should have had it set up. It should have had like an internal timer where it goes off after like 10 seconds.
100%. This is craziness. Now.
There it goes. Now, if you push it down, it's gonna start doing that shit again. So you might as well just leave it.
Okay, we put Kathy to bed.
$500, 500 SEK.
Oh,
I think it's $50 US. That's what Rob
That's still
Scott
killer.
says.
I love
So,
it.
Bookhouse Boy, our boy Eric, all the way in Sweden. I used to love watching his YouTube stuff, which he needs to come back. I don't know if Garrett, if you remember him back in the day, him and his good friend Santa were always talking about movies. And Sweden is such a fucking beautiful place. Like, I think it's nighttime a lot in Sweden. Is that right?
Is it really?
I think so. Eric can clue us in, but he says, "Hey guys, always enjoy hearing you guys talk movies. We go back to the old days of YouTube." Yeah, I don't even remember how long ago that was, but it was a while ago. And he says he sometimes finds himself singing the Wet Movie 1 song even at work. You've got a lenient work environment. That's all I got to
if you're
say.
doing that.
Oh my god, that is funny.
But yeah, thank you so much, man. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So real quick though, I've got to know this. I'm sorry, but I've got to know the answer to this because I'm not going to be able to.
Uh-oh.
What adjustments do we need
What
to
up,
make
dude?
for the eyes to work properly, Captain Horror?
Yeah,
I'm
I was
curious.
talking about this with somebody online
You have to
yesterday. and we-
rewire it.
well, no,
We need a
I don't
car
know about
battery and
that.
like
but somebody messaged me and they said, "Oh, I just got my replacement batteries for my thing. It died already." I'm like, "Died already?" It was
Oh
one
my
day.
God.
And they said these companies are going to start charging like a service fee now to like to keep these
Yep.
things working. And like, you got to call a number. Severn's like a little Severn maintenance man's going to come over. And,
you're like the Geek Squad. They'll come to your house,
Yeah.
the Severn Squad.
Severn squad. The guy comes over like, "I'm here to fix your Kathy's curse." He's got like wires and stuff.
Get your soldering iron out.
It's like a
Yeah.
subscription you're gonna have to have. You're gonna pay like a monthly fee and like you get free service on all your 4Ks.
Seriously, if you need magnets, a soldering iron, and a car battery to fix a fucking Blu-ray, then it's probably not worth it.
So guys, hashtag Severn Squad is the new hashtag. That's gonna go.
They have a Severin Squad location in every Best Buy. Take your
Yeah.
movies in there.
They fix
Bookhouse
it.
Boy, though, in Sweden, he says during the autumn and winter, there isn't much light. Sun comes up late and goes down early.
Wow.
Okay, guys, we ready to go for round 2?
You've got it out of control.
Look, boys, hey, I'm not looking at it most of the time. If I know that I've got to talk, I'm looking at the screen here.
Huge.
Uncle Bill's dying, dude. He can't breathe. I'm gonna answer Reverend really quick. He asked about the Chucky 4K box set. I don't have it, so I can't say anything to it. But I think if you've got the Scream Factories, I don't think there's a need to buy it again.
Well, unless you haven't bought it, if you don't own
That's what I'm
anything,
saying.
I would advise the the Arrow one just because it's much cheaper. I mean, hell, you can get the Arrow set. And then if you're that picky about the 4K of the first movie, just buy that from Scream Factory and it'll still be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, if you don't have it, it's probably easier to buy this because it's cheaper. But I think if you have the Scream Factory, I don't think it's a need to do that. So, okay, what Captain Horror said. You pull out the inner piece where the lights are. I tried to fix it, but the only thing that works is sticking it upside down from the bottom. Like, that's the thing, though. Like, I understand that this didn't work the way they wanted. They gave us a coupon, which is great, and I'm happy because mine works and whatnot. But is it really necessary to have something where people have to like treat it like a computer or a car where they're in there with screwdrivers and like messing with wiring and stuff? Like, I gotta go. The gimmick's cool, but it's kind of gone a little far here with.
I gotta go to MIT and get my degree in engineering to fix this fucking Kathy's curse, right? God.
You know what I did try to do years ago? You remember the was it Metamorphosis? It was the other. It wasn't Dead Pit, but it was the other one that had the guy with the yellow eyes or whatever on it. And I tried getting replacement batteries, and I was all excited. I was like, "Oh hell, it's going to work." Well, this is going to work. Nothing.
We have over 200 people in here. If you're on the Born to Be Rad channel, give it a thumbs up. And the same with Dead Pit.
We got a brand new user on here, a very attractive Asian lady by the name of Fuck You. They gave us a 99-cent super sticker.
I thought that was Fook.
Oh, that's okay. Fuck you, buddy.
Well, my Chinese is not very good. Fuck you.
Oh,
fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. We have over 200 people.
Getting crazy. We have over 200 people in here. You guys are killing it.
So definitely thumbs up the video and everything, and like both pages.
And we're still only halfway done here, so we still have another 3 inductees to go.
We're still neck and neck on the Dead Pit channel too for the votes. Which physical media release deserves the Hall of Shame this year? Is it the Bear Trap from our buddies at Via Vision over in Australia? Yeah. Whoa. Oh. Yeah. Is it this piece of trash right here, the Nightmare on Elm Street collection? One of the biggest disappointments of all time, I think this set was.
100%.
51 to 49% right now. The Bear Trap is ahead
62 to 33. So it is it's getting close, and we'll have that. That'll be our 7th nominee tonight. I'm going to go and give you my 2nd nominee. So this is number 4 of the 6 inductees tonight for the 2024 Physical Media Horror Hall of Fame. And I'm just going to stick with the big guns. I already showed Elm Street, so why not just show Friday the 13th Scream Factory box set? Now, as much as this did have, a couple replacement discs, all in all, I mean, this is, in my opinion, the best Friday the 13th box set ever. I mean, singly packaged, all with like basically the original artwork on the packages. I mean, beautiful to have these all finally together in one spot. Original artwork, like we said. We've gotten a lot of box sets before, but it was always kind of weird artwork and stuff. And this is such a killer commissioned art as well. So I had to give Scream Factory little props in here. We got to shout them out when they need to be shouted out.
Okay.
They killed it with that box.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask a question. Where the hell do you find all these cases for these different size fucking, like, how's that possible?
I got a guy. Katana Collectibles you guys can find. I've actually got a lot more stuff.
Do you just tell him like, hey, I've got the Friday the 13th.
Well, you can search for specific. Yeah,
you can go on their site and you can type in like Friday 13 Scream Factory box set and like it'll pop up. But what happens is you can also custom. So like I have a lot of stuff I've custom, and then what happens is as soon as you custom it, he'll then put it on his site because like he's already done the dimensions and stuff. So he's got tons of stuff. Like, I mean, I've got NECA figures done.
I have respect for that fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff over there. So I'll be doing another video on more stuff. I've got new stuff from him. So.
With the Friday the 13th box set though from Scream Factory, which people were still complaining at the time that it wasn't all out in 4K, and Scream Factory has yet to do a big 4K box set. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But I think that edition, that Friday the 13th box set, was the last huge thing that they had done. And that was 4 years ago at this point, or close to 4 years ago. Is there anything else that they could do aside from Nightmare on Elm Street, which is not happening from them, I'm pretty sure.
I would say I can't think of anything, but if they would have done Chucky the way they should have done Chucky, I think that would have been another one. Like, they released the first three, they released the rest later. It's like if they would have released them all in 4K with the box set. Like, I have a box set that I had custom made for the Chucky things that looks just like this damn thing does as far as the artwork, and it's got all the 4Ks in there. Like, that would have been their next big addition, but they don't think that way. They're just like, oh, we got them, let's hurry up and get them out before someone else announces it. And it's like, well, wait, and then announce all of them and put them in a nice set. So that, I think, could have been the big one, but I think the way they did it was a little bit wonky.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pricing is what gets them, because if they put it all in a big box set, they know that they can't make as much money if they sell them all individually for $36.99 or whatever they're selling them for. I think that's probably what it is.
Mm. And Tom asks if it is really Wet Movie in the chat. Yes, it is, Tom.
Wet Movie is one of our boys. He's got his own theme song on here.
Yeah, he's got a song.
Yeah.
No, it's not an imposter. It's really him. He's a big fan.
That would be a great idea, though. Scheme Factory needs to do a Children of the Corn box set wrapped in a corn husk. That would be what put them over the edge. You peel it back, get to the Blu-rays. Yeah, I'm having fun, Reverend, reading this chat, which is going to
it's always a blast
if I don't stop reading this chat.
What's your thoughts, though, on the Friday the 13th set, though, Uncle Bill? I mean, is that one that you go back to quite often?
Yeah, it's like probably one of the ones I go back to the most often, honestly, because like those movies are never ending and like they just never get old to me. I know a lot of people say the opposite of that. They say they can't stand to watch those movies over and over again, like because they're slasher films. Well, I had the exact opposite experience with those movies for some reason. Like I could watch them probably every week. I don't know. There's something nostalgic because if you think about it, like when you watch those movies, you're not only watching, you don't have nostalgia for the first time you watched them, but you're having nostalgia for like all the other times that you've watched them, like, you know, growing up and at different parts of your life and things like that too. Cause they're all through like your history, like every Halloween, they're always on something, or they were back when cable and things like that were a thing. But like, it's just a part of your life, like throughout, if you're a certain age, it is a part of your life throughout like that, your whole life. They're always on. They're always around.
It's very interesting that you say that because I'm kind of exactly in the same boat. And sometimes people wonder like, oh, wow, your favorite of the big three is Friday the 13th. And I'm like, it is actually by far. And I know we've talked about this before where it's kind of like, is it because they knew the formula that worked and they kind of didn't sway too far from that, where a lot of these other ones tried to kind of change it a little bit, change it up. And I don't know what it is. I mean, as much as they're very similar, I just feel like for me, it's an easier watch, a little more of like a comfort watch. I'm interested in all of them all the way through. I mean, you know, gets a little dicey at Jason X for me, but all in all, I think the rest are easy watches. But I would rather watch Friday the 13th than watch any of all the Child's Plays, the Halloweens, and the Elm Streets. I mean, I think some of them from those series are better movies. But I think as just like, if I could sit down and watch one of those franchises front to back, I would pick Friday the 13th all day.
I'm the same way. And I don't know why exactly that is, but I think it's just got something to do with like how present those films, they were much more present than any other series. And that he was more iconic than any other of those figures. Like at least when we were growing up, like I think Chucky in some way has taken that now. Like Chucky is more.
I'm sick to death of Chucky though.
Well, yeah, because it's everywhere.
Oh my God. Like I would be fine if they never made another episode or another Chucky movie. I'm just done.
It's sad. I love Chucky too, but I've never watched the show. And I do think that, big fans are really liking the show, so I really can't hate on that. But I think for me, even though I don't watch the show, I almost feel like I wonder if the show is going to water down another movie, right? Like, are people going to be as stoked for another Chucky movie if there is one to come out, knowing that they see him every week on TV? Like, does that kind of water it down? And, I wonder the same thing about Friday the 13th, because like, I didn't read the news. I know there's been news out about the show. I don't know if it means it's coming, if it's not. I don't know what the news was. I haven't even sat down and looked at it, but I know a lot of people had mentioned that they wanted it to be a little bit more like the movies, but I kind of go in the different direction and be like, no, because when there is another movie, I want it to feel like a movie, not just a continuation of a TV show. And that's where I kind of think a lot of these franchises are going wrong, is that they're giving us too much of these characters, where I think it's going to really water down the movie experience for a lot of these
Yeah,
people.
I mean, anytime I see somebody's turning a movie franchise into a TV, I'm just like, I don't want to watch that. Like, I just immediately get turned off by it, like the Chucky thing and the Friday the 13th thing. They had Scream series for a while. That was a thing. It's
Mm.
like, I don't care about any of those. Like, I could care less. Like,
I was curious though with Garrett, like, because me and Uncle Bill's talking about this, and I was talking about this with Dirk, I think, not too long ago. Our boy Subjective Perspective Collective, baby. The Freddy movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, are those
Mhm.
ones that you still go back to and watch quite a bit? Because with me, I don't know if I'm just completely burnt out on those two, but I never ever have the urge to go back and watch any of those movies hardly anymore.
Um, I don't, but I also will say that honestly, Elm Street are probably the ones that I watched the least, like, growing. Like, I always watched Friday, always. Like, I watched Elm Street, but like, not all the time. So I don't find myself going back, but I do feel good when I do go back to the Elm Street stuff, because besides the first and second one, and maybe even the third, like, these other sequels I never absolutely loved. So it is kind of fun to go back, because I feel like I haven't experienced them in so long. So, but it's not one I go back to. And the same with Halloween. Only until recently did I really start going back to Halloween. And I actually can respect some of the sequels more than I did maybe 4 years ago, before I even started the channel, because I know we did some stuff. We went back in time, and part 5 was, to me, was always one of the worst sequels ever. So I never watched it. But then going back, and we did that whole slip and slide show where, Wet and Wild Mikey or whatever, we were sliding down the thing with the Benny Hill music.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I got a new appreciation for part 5, because I'm looking at it from a different angle of it being just kind of like a big weird mess, instead of
Yeah.
trying to compare it to the first one and how shitty the mask looks and all this other stuff. So with the Halloween stuff, it's the same way. Like, I don't go back to it a lot, but I'm not tired of it, because I don't think I wore myself out with a lot of those sequels. Like, I'm tired of, I'll tell you a movie I'm tired of is I'm tired of Screams right now, and I'm tired of like Trick or Treat. Like, I don't know what it is, but those
Everywhere
two
is
things
what it is.
I'm a little bit tired of. And I
I'm tired.
loved all of that shit before.
Anytime something gets so popular that it seeps into, like, Spirit of Halloween and stuff like that, like, that you're gonna get burnt out on it, because it's just there's too much
What?
of it
It's
going
kind of
around.
like, yeah, because too many people know about what you knew about for over a decade, right? And most of
Yeah.
them aren't even movie fans, really. They're just collecting it because, oh, it's got cool Halloween looking stuff on it.
But I will say, like, to piggyback off what you were saying, like, I think certain Nightmare on Elm Street films I can't watch anymore, because I just burn myself out on them. Part 3 and Part 4, like, I've watched those I just can't watch them anymore. I could probably watch Part 5 and like Freddy's Dead easier than I could the first
Mm.
4 movies right now, because I've just seen them so many times. I just don't give a shit, to be honest. But I don't have the same reaction with Friday the 13th. I don't know why. And same thing with Halloween. Like, first 5 of those movies, I just don't have any interest in watching them. I've oversaturated myself with those, and maybe from 6 on, I could watch again.
Really, I agree with Fight the Good Fight on this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the only really, really good Scream movie is the first one.
I agree. I totally agree.
Except for
Um,
part 5. That one was killer.
Well, you know what else though is with Scream though? Like it's strange because when I come out of the theater and see Scream, I'm like, oh, that was decent. But like I've never watched them again, which then makes me think like I have no, excitement to ever watch that again.
What
But for
was the
some reason,
last
when I
one?
watched it for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't that bad. The last one was Scream 6 with where like I think what it is, it's just like I get to a point when I really think back on it and I'm like, the killers are always so stupid. Like it never makes
Well,
sense.
yeah,
Right?
and the endings are so convoluted now, and like they're really not a surprise. Like in the first one, it was actually a huge surprise that there were two killers, right? Like that was
Mhm.
the big. But in the second one, it was a huge surprise that it was the
It was like the
mother.
mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And that
then it kind of progressively just got to be where it was just stupid, and it
It's
stayed stupid for
it's
like the
one of
rest of
those
like
where the surprises get lamer and lamer, and
yeah.
like they can't do anything that'll actually pay off as far as the surprises go. It's always somebody's cousin, their sister, their stepbrother, their whole ex-boyfriend's
I
family.
agree. I mean, I'll see Scream 7, but I'm telling you right now, I am like have zero investment in it because not only that, it's like I hate things that aren't like I don't like when they mess with story and continuity. So everybody's like, oh well, they're gonna bring back all the old cast and stuff. Well, then you know what? Then it's annoying to me because that means I just wasted time on 5 and 6 that are now just nothingness to this franchise. You had a whole
That's
story we're
happening all
building.
over the place right now
It's
too.
just like, so now what are you going to do? Like, how are they going to explain this? Like, oh, they moved away, or oh, was it somebody even said they might do something where it was like it was a that 5 and 6 was like a memoir that like, what's her name there? The
Sydney.
no, the reporter
Uh,
from Friends.
oh, oh,
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, like she was writing a book and like that's going to be the characters. And I'm like, this is so ridiculous now. Like, I would have rather just had them keep the girls, finish their story, and cut this and end this damn thing.
just have
Get
it
us,
be a dream. Like
yeah,
the
give
whole
us
5 and 6 was a
Stu
dream.
at the end as like the main, as like the big bad, like it was me all along, and then let's close it out. Like,
Sean's got a good question though. Do you guys know anything about Sandpiper Pictures?
no,
Why does that question keep coming up?
Dude. Okay, so here's the deal. This company announced another batch of releases, like re-releases of Scream Factory titles that are out of print. I think Lady in White was in that batch. They also did Invaders from Mars, the Toby Hooper movie. That's the one that I got.
oh, I did see a company announce that, but it kind of looked like a bare bones release.
I think all of their stuff is bare bones, but it's the same transfer and everything as the Scream Factory one. They have no online presence at all. They don't have a Facebook page. They don't have a website. Nothing. And I asked the same thing because I was wanting Invaders from Mars forever, which I always have loved that movie. It's a bad movie, but it's goofy, cheesy 80s fun. I've always loved it. And I never did get the Scream Factory one, so I wanted it. So I picked it up. It's a bare bones, great transfer on it and everything. But I was curious too. I mean, there's a review that I did on the Dead Pit page where I was like, who and what the fuck is Sandpiper Pictures? Nobody has ever been able to answer that. So we're going to have to do a special investigation on who these fuckers are. Yeah.
Investigating Sandpiper and like,
What if
try to
they
see
don't
them-
really exist?
You should try to bring them on and question them about their.
How would you get a hold of
Company.
them?
I don't know.
Mhm.
See, when people said that, I thought maybe like I thought it was an inside joke where like maybe UB's kids were like starting a label or something.
That could.
Like I thought maybe that's what it was. I'm like, am I missing this joke here? Like,
Yeah,
they're, like,
that's what
starting
it
a
is.
label.
It's just so weird though that they're doing these releases and they won't even put out like a Facebook page, a Twitter, anything like that.
Did you give them your credit card information or did you go PayPal?
Well, no, they don't have a site. It's up
Oh,
on.
they have you can't even like order anything yet.
I think Orbit
Venmo
had the
only.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I should talk to the Orbit guy and be like, who the hell are these guys?
He's probably like, I don't know.
Where are you ordering this?
I got no idea. Real quick though, before we go on to the actual like next one, I found these also when I was looking for all this other stuff, and I was like, these are fucking killer, and I'd forgotten like how killer they were, especially the third one. And you were talking about this anyway. So, do you remember these?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
The lenticular like
Mm-hmm.
editions,
I
and
used to
this
do
one,
some old school rap songs with those.
Oh, you could scratch them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go, man. Mm.
But this one in particular, it didn't work at all. It never did. Like it's a DVD, so
Oh, the glasses.
yeah, you got like
Oh, maybe.
What's the
two-
crappy, like red and blue ones? Yeah.
the 2 pairs of Friday the 13th 3D glasses that didn't work at all, really. But I
Still
just
see
love
them.
that. I love that edition.
They are
Both those
fun little
editions,
gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
but that's not the pick. But those are killer.
They did lenticulars for all 8 of the Paramount ones, though,
Yeah.
and the
Yep.
latter ones are really hard to find, I think. The lenticular ones. Did you get all those, Garrett?
I had them, but I sold them once I got the I got one of the sets. It was either the mask set or maybe the tin set. But my friend Mike, I think that's the only way he has these movies on physical media. I think he's got all the
I've got a part 5 that's signed by Danny Steinman,
Ooh, baby.
who's no longer with us. But who is up, boys? It's always fun. We got
You-
220
He's up.
people.
Garrett went, so
in
I was just showing those, but this is my actual pick. So I thought I knew what my pick was going to be, but it kind of changed. So I can't believe we haven't done this yet.
Making a
I thought
comeback.
I thought we did, but we haven't inducted this particular edition, which we should have. But first, I thought this has got to be my pick. It's got to be the 4K Synapse Ultra HD of Suspiria, which is one of the best 4Ks that has ever been done for anything. It also almost killed Don May Jr. So I think just for that reason alone, we should induct it into the Hall of Fame, because he has said that this movie about took him out, literally the restoration process of this movie. So it's I don't know how many good things I can say about the picture quality of this, but like this is a movie that benefits from 4K more so than probably any other movie I've ever seen. The colors are the whole part of the movie. The cinematography is the whole like catch of the movie, really. The dialogue in this movie is absolutely awful. It's one of the worst things ever. And the visuals are really what set this movie apart from everybody else. And this edition is the definitive edition. However, if you're going for picture quality, then this is the edition. But if you're going for actual presentation,
The total package, yeah.
total package, you're not going to beat this. This was
That was
one
the
of my
original
favorite.
one. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite steelbooks. that's
Wait,
ever-
is that the 4K steelbook?
There's not a
Or the
4K.
blue.
there's not-
This is the
no,
blue.
this is a 4K.
There's
It's a
the-
4K restoration, but it's not.
Oh, so I think, and that would be the one I have. What does it look like underneath there?
it's
It's
a
like
steelbook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the one I have. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is like one of my favorite steelbooks.
And doesn't have a soundtrack in it and all that too. Didn't they do that?
It has. It's limited to 6,000 units, by the way. It
And that was
has,
the first special edition steelbook thing that Synapse ever did too. And then they started doing
Yeah,
more
the
of them.
exclusive CD remaster of Goblin Suspiria motion picture soundtrack containing additional tracks not included. I actually prefer, just for like the way that it's set up.
Get both of them.
Presentation.
Yeah, I mean, there's the
So
compact
good.
disc.
If you're a real
thing.
baller and shot caller, you got to have both of them.
This is what the inside of it looks
Come
like.
on, it's just money.
CD. Yeah. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
an amazing edition.
Well,
I
he
mean,
worked on that for years and years and years.
Was that the
How
one that
long?
almost got that gold pod edition or whatever?
Yeah, the Diamond Pod, I think, right?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
Um,
were kidding about it for years. Like, what year did that
Yeah.
finally come out? Has it got a date on the back of it or anything?
which one?
The original one, the Steelbook one.
Probably 20,
28, 20,
2016.
I wish it did.
I'm
It
thinking
doesn't.
2017, 2018, but maybe it was before that. Somebody in the chat knows. They can Google
Yeah,
it for us.
somebody can look it up because it doesn't say on here.
But yeah, it's maybe one of the most beautiful films that's ever been made. It's like a painting come to life there. I don't think that visually he ever did anything close to that movie. It's just, I don't know how in the hell he made it. Like, I'm shocked that there's not a making of documentary. Well, I mean, not one they did back then, but like a newer one on the making of the movie and how it all came about, because he's still around. He could still talk about it. I mean, you got to talk the Italian to him, but
I don't know if you guys caught it, but Anchor Bay just did a stream, like their first ever live stream on their YouTube channel, whatever, the other day, and they were doing giveaways and stuff. And I was in the chat really quick, and I was pissed because I was like, I want this. They were giving away, the big thick opera and Suspiria sets I did back in the day. They were given they gave one of each away, signed by Argento on the front.
Oh,
holy shit.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I wish I'd known about that.
Shit. And then somebody got a guy who watches my show, Corey Conway, won a Phantasm Anchor Bay signed by Coscarelli. So they were.
Where are they getting this? Did they buy all the old stock or something?
No. So all the people involved in the new Anchor Bay worked at Anchor Bay, so they have like old stock that they had kept. I think after
they got any midnight special ones.
I don't know, but he emailed me and said, "Hey, I want to send you a box
Midnight
of stuff.
hour.
But I know you have a lot of Anchor Bay in your collection. Is there anything specific you're looking for?" So I sent him a list. As far as if he's got any of it, I don't know. So I said, let me know what you got signed. And, I don't know if they have any left, but when I saw them open that Suspiria signed by Argento, I'm like, oh man, I would love to have that.
I'm going to have to talk to these guys.
I swear to God, I knew he was going to say it before he even said it. I'm like, the next thing that's going to happen is,
hey, boss.
Hey.
What up?
But yeah, I mean, back to Suspiria though, like, the Anchor Bay one was the first time that I saw the movie. That was I guess that was a big release, in 2001, 2002. And I've always loved, like, since the first time I saw it. Now, is it a movie that it has a linear story or anything like that? No, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's just a beautifully made movie. The score in it is amazing. I just recently got the soundtrack on vinyl in a big box set. Probably Goblin, number 1 or number 2, their best scores of all time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's way up there. 2017 is when that Steelbook came out, by the way.
Okay.
Also, y'all are making anything to do with Tiffany Shepard like way more exciting than it ever was. Like, yeah.
Look at a hot tub, baby.
Look at
I had to play with my man, Boo Biv. That entire night.
You were in the hot tub with Tiffany Shepard?
She got got them all soaped up, baby, and feeling so good. And Uncle Bill was watching.
That's a disturbing image and thought.
But yeah, I mean, that was Severin. They were working on that for probably 5 years or longer. I mean, we were talking about it forever.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was about that movie. I know that you can go back and listen to some of our Don May interviews where he talks about like that movie in particular, trying to get everything remastered and done with that particular edition and just how difficult it was. So for that reason alone, we induct Suspiria in here.
Mm-hmm.
Great one.
Yeah. We're going to get into the final pick here in just a second, but we do have 218 people still watching this live. We've got a total of 110 votes on the Dead Pit YouTube channel. 51% saw Bear Trap box set via Vision. It's one that I think all of them came broke. Wasn't that the deal? There wasn't any of them that got there in one piece.
I don't know anybody that got theirs that wasn't broke. No.
And the Nightmare on Elm Street 2011 Blu-ray set from Warner Brothers, one of the biggest disappointments of all time for a gigantic franchise. That one is 49%. So get your votes in. You can vote twice. You can go to the Dead Pit YouTube or the Born to Be Rad YouTube, both if you want to. Where's it
Yeah.
at on the Born to Be Rad channel?
Saw Trap is 61%. Nightmare on Elm Street is at 39%, and there's been 61 votes.
Very interesting. All right, boys. So, the finale for the 2024 Horror Media Hall of Fame is another brand new release that came out about a year ago. And the interesting thing about this release is it was coinciding with a U.S. release within a month of one another. And the U.S. release was done by a little company called Dark Sky Films, and I watched the U.S. release, and I was amazed. And you can see the reviews are still up on the YouTube page. I was like, how could, because it's a 4K release, and we'll go ahead. You all know what it is. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was amazed with the Dark Sky release. I really was. It has lots of special features on it as well. The steelbook I thought was really nice looking. It's the classic US one sheet artwork. I love that edition. And I said in the review, there's no way you can top it. And in a month later, whatever it was, when this second sight release came out, this is the limited edition one, but they also have the same disc in like a regular edition, which I think this one is sold out. But I put this disc in, and again, it was like 1994 watching a laser disc for the first time. I was stunned when I saw this. I could not, I was like, somehow they have improved on, and a drastic difference, in my opinion, from the Dark Sky to the second sight one. And when I was surprised, I messaged Don May because he predicted it. He was like, well, the guy that's doing the second sight one, the transfer on it, he's top notch. Nobody's going to, it's going to be better than the Dark Sky one. I'm like, there's no damn way. But yeah, man, and it's the total package too. So there's tons of special features on this, like 3 or 4 different documentaries, deluxe, absolutely deluxe edition. You've got a hardbound book in here. You guys want to listen to how hard it is?
That was my skull.
But yeah, look how classy. I'll just drop something on the floor here.
Salad.
He broke it up.
Little hardback book about the making of and photos and all that good stuff. And art cards. Everybody loves art cards. And they do the digipacks, which I like. I don't know if Garrett, you're not big on the digipacks, are you?
I think it's all right. I guess I think it all depends on how it's displayed up, but I'm fine with it.
But I don't know if you can still get these on. I'm sure eBay has them. What are they going for? Like probably $150, $200.
I would think so. But I know that this is the one we're talking about because of the created transfer. But there's certain movies out there that I'm okay with buying multiple of, and Texas Chainsaw is definitely one. Exorcist is one. Dawn of the Dead is one. I like buying editions of specific movies. And I will say I'm going to sucker in and buy that new edition that they just announced from Dark Sky. Dark Sky already announced they're doing another Texas Chainsaw that's going to be coming in a chainsaw. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, it's probably going to be all gimmick. I don't know what's going to go on.
I'm sure it's the
I'm already
same
going to tell you I'm going to probably get it.
It's probably the same disc, but I mean, it's a difference.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Bill's got a chainsaw one somewhere, don't you? You just still have it.
Yeah.
With an
Remember after we
reach.
did the history of Texas Chainsaw on physical media, I ended up going to buy that truck or whatever.
Killing that damn Black Maria.
Yeah.
But one thing that was missing in the set, and this is the set to get. If you want the ultimate version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with all the extras, it's got the David Gregory documentary on it, mate. And Felcher's documentary is on it. Tons of interviews. That's the one to get. But the only suggestion that I had for one of these releases, and maybe someday they will do a grindhouse version of Texas Chainsaw, like a real beat up, do a scan of a real beat up 35 millimeter print, because that's part of the charm with a movie like that, I think. Now it's a beautifully made movie. Visually, it looks great and everything, but I think that they should do a despecialized version on a future release.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. You would think it wouldn't take much to have to do that either, but that's also a cool reason to keep some of your stuff like your DVD and whatnot to get that.
Get out of here, Cold Duder's mother.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Craziness. Honorable mention though, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre was killer, but it was nothing compared to this seminal release of David S. Guzlin's Backroads from 148.
Oh,
we're gonna put that one into the Hall of Fame right now.
It's exclusively on Patreon, boys. Garrett, have you ever seen that? That was our film debut.
Oh, okay. I've seen it. It's got there's like a chick in it that was like hooking up with some guy on the bed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's Stacey T. Gillespie, boys.
I remember that. And then that other girl, the girl that I had on my channel, Crystal Cleveland, was in a movie called Backwoods Bubba, and I thought maybe it was a sequel to yours.
Backwoods Bubba.
So I asked him, I'm like, it was a sequel to Backwoods by any chance? What is it? Backroads?
Crater was in a Goose movie back in the day. Was he in Cry? Wasn't he in Cry? The Diary of Calvin Ray Young.
Kildo 2 is what he said.
Oh, okay. Kildo 2. Still killing with the Kildo. So, yeah, those are the 6 inductees. You want to go through them again? So, people, if you're just now tuning in, there's 6 new ones.
Number 1, the Nightmare on Elm Street VHS box set from 1999.
New Line Cinema.
Number 2 would be the Enter the Video Store Empire Scream set from Arrow.
Number 3, the very first Laserdisc release from Don May Jr. and Elite Entertainment, the 25th anniversary edition of Night of the Living Dead.
Number 4 is Friday the 13th Deluxe Collection from Scream Factory on Blu-ray.
Number 5, like Jake the Snake Robert said, pick your poison. Either version of Synapse's Suspiria, but I would go with the 4K for the picture.
But for the total package.
But for the total package, Lex Luger.
Get both. It's just money, baby. It's just money. Where you going to take it when you're dead? And go spend $200 on this big Texas Chainsaw Massacre box set from Second Sight Films. As far as deluxe packaging goes in 2024, Second Sight's second to none, really. I mean, all of their stuff is so uniform, classy looking and everything. Always look forward. The Hitcher, have they said anything about that one coming out?
They just said it's coming. Nothing new. No new updates. Just they're finishing it up, I guess.
It's been as long as Suspiria or longer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a great release, though. And John asked if we did Dawn of the Dead Second Sight. Did we?
Nope. Because I thought about doing that, and I was like, we did the Anchor Bay Dawn DVD set, right? Ultimate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that can be a future one more than likely. But yeah, I mean, it's the Dawn of the Dead set is really an updated version of that Anchor Bay set. It's the same thing, right?
You know
what's never, just all in 4K.
You know what's never going to make this Hall of Fame is the sadly.
Is that gonna eventually when everybody's dies really quick? That'll be in the Hall of Shame thing.
Yeah,
in a couple of years.
It's a nice addition though. Otherwise.
Oh, no, 100%. It is a nice addition.
Hey, one thing you got to give Severin, they are the only ones that's ever attempted to do that since the VHS days.
They attempted.
Yeah, I mean, it was a ballsy thing. I think it's innovative, which I can give them credit for. I mean, I even think that somebody, if not them, I mean, I would love to see someone recreate the next Frankenhooker 4K in a nice hard box with the button on a date, then somebody needs to redo it. I think that would be so killer to have the voice box in there or whatever. I mean, that was such an iconic and different thing back in the day with VHS, and that tape is going for like $500 if you can
How do
find
you
it.
get something like that made nowadays, though? I think that's the problem. Like back then, there were a lot of companies that were doing those little gimmick VHS tapes. But today, you know, that one's made quite different. So, I mean, I don't know if they even know how to put that stuff together anymore.
I mean, I guess you would just go to maybe figure out how the hell they did it the first time and try to mimic it. Because, I mean, there had to have been a way that they were able to do
Go
it
hire a
on
bunch of
VHS.
12-year-olds in the Philippines.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Severance Squad kind of helps out. I have no idea, but you know, for sure somebody should
I'm Billy.
should put it out.
I'm Mikey. It'd be like the Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
The Severance Squad.
What's what are the Severn guys? What is it?
I'm Billy. I'm Mikey.
Nicky!
Nicky. I'm David.
Garrett could have totally been a Spirit
Davey!
Squad member back in the day. To get you one of those jumpsuits, get you a green headband.
Oh,
Davey,
shit.
Mikey, Nicky,
Gary! That'd be your name, Gary.
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 Ugh.
Oh my god. You could
All
be
right.
Billy and then Wesley.
Wesley!
Billy, Wesley, Gary.
I've got my my Garrett wig somewhere. I can put it on.
I know I'm gonna be selling those soon.
All right, so we've
Oh,
got one
shit.
more left, and you want to go ahead. We're going to give people a 5-minute notice so we can get people over there to vote on which physical media release deserves the Hall of Shame for 2024: the Saw Bear Trap box set from Via Vision, or the Nightmare on Elm Street 2011 set from Warner Brothers. We're going to do, let's see, it is 11:41 right now. We're going to give them till 11:45, and then we'll call it. How's that sound?
Yeah, so do your votes. If you're on my channel, pop over to Dead Pitch channel. You can vote there, and vice versa. If you're on Dead Pitch channel, pop over to my channel at Born to Be Rad, and you can do 2 votes. So you can vote on both. We'll calibrate it, and then we'll choose the winner.
And it's a good opportunity for people that aren't subscribed to both channels to just go ahead and click that subscribe button, because you know you want to anyway. We're always doing stuff together, but we're also doing different stuff as well. What do you got coming up on the Born to Be Rad channel in the next couple of days, Garrett?
Well, I just released a pretty cool video talking all about the controversy, the legend with the Sleepaway Camp Red Cross box set from Anchor Bay. So I went through the whole story on that. And, you know, during my research, I actually I kind of discovered that there's 4 variants of that box set. I only thought there was 2. So it's kind of interesting to go back in time and talk all about that, what went wrong, you know, what are the variants and stuff like that. So it's a cool video. That's on the channel right now. I just did a Kathy's Curse video. I know you guys did one as well. So that's up now. I do have a lot of old school physical media stuff that I've been dropping every Saturday. This Saturday, I actually have something a little different dropping on the channel Saturday morning. And it's going to be talking about Batmania. So if you're a big fan of Batman 1989, I really don't talk about like superhero movies, I guess, on my channel, but that was such a huge deal to me growing up. And I do talk about nostalgia and, you know, being a 7-year-old kid, seeing Batman 89 for the first time. There was a lot of gateway horror stuff in that movie. I mean, Jesus, I was 7 years old watching Jack Nicholson burn a guy, fry a guy in the movie. Like, so there was a lot of stuff in there. And if you didn't live during that time and when that came out, the hype machine behind that and the juggernaut of marketing that thing had was insanity. So I talk about that, and I have a real cool special guest I'll announce tomorrow, somebody who's never been on the channel before. He'll be talking to me about it, and he's honestly one of the biggest Batman 1989 collectors out there. So it'll be cool. It's cool to hear him talk about things that I never knew and showcase some of his collection and stuff like that. So check it out.
Okay. That sounds really cool, and I can't wait to check that out, because that was a weird time frame, because that was like the return of the summer blockbuster. A great follow-up to that would be that next summer they tried it again with Dick Tracy, and it did not work. and maybe go back and look and rewatch the movie. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but it's
when I was a kid, I kind of forced myself to love it because I had the toys and stuff like that, but going back and watch it now, I respect it because it's very different, but it's a weird watch now.
it's very
the effects were
stylistic.
cool,
I'll
though.
give it that. Yeah, it has
The
its own
effects were
style.
great. But yeah, it is crazy too because we going through and talking about different things during that show that I'm gonna drop on Saturday. Ghostbusters 2 was released the week before Batman, and Ghostbusters 2 was a huge thing. And as soon as Batman hits, it tanked. It tanked Ghostbusters 2. So from being a little kid standpoint, you're going to see Ghostbusters 2, and then the following week you're going to see Batman. It was like, this is the greatest thing ever. But from a standpoint of Ghostbusters 2, it totally destroyed that movie. So that was a stupid decision that they made.
I think they waited too long to do Ghostbusters 2.
It definitely.
86 would have been, 2 years later would have been fine, but waiting 4 years later, 5 years later, actually. Yeah.
There'll be a whole show though about what actually happened with Ghostbusters 2. Because I remember when it came out, it was huge disappointment, and I remember people bitching about it and everything. And then now it's kind of like a classic, and people put it right up there.
I saw both of those in the theater as a kid. Man. When it comes to me, there's still only 2 Ghostbusters movies, and it's the first 2. I like them both pretty much equally, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia factor of part 2, but man, when I was a kid, I marked the fuck out when they were controlling the Statue of Liberty with the NES Advantage.
Yep.
That was the controller I used as a kid. So, I mean, things like that. I really love Ghostbusters 2 and Batman. But yeah, it is past 11:45. Do you want to end the poll? Because it's showing me 50-50, boss.
No.
Ready to end it?
Wow.
In 5. You got it pulled up. 5.
I got it.
4, 3, 2, 1, man.
All right. So Saw Trap box set via Vision 63% to 36% with 73 votes.
I'm not shitting you on this one. Saw Bear Trap box set 50%. Nightmare on Elm Street box set 50%. 120 votes. It's dead even.
Wow.
So whoever won on Garrett's is the winner. So I guess it would be the Saw Bear Trap box set.
Well, yeah.
Saw Bear Trap box. And now, how much was that when it came out? Does anybody know?
It was like $200, $200 some dollars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But at least the Nightmare on Elm Street box set, even though it sucks ass, came to you unharmed. Did anybody ever? Because somebody asked this, and I'm curious too. Have you ever seen anybody unbox that where it wasn't broken?
No.
I have.
There was a lot of people that unboxed it that said, "Oh, darn! I'm gonna just glue this," and it's like, well, you shouldn't have to do that.
To be fair, most of the issue with that too is the way they packed it. They packed it like shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man,
I think they've learned their lesson. I think they really had to from that release on how they package stuff, because that thing's coming from Australia, coming over here, going through customs. I mean, that thing had this weird piece that it was kept breaking on everybody's, because it's, it wasn't, I don't know what it was made out of, but when Tony sent it to me, even the size of that bear trap was it fit in my fist. When they showed it for on the ad, it looked like it would fit on your head,
Who the hell did that? Did a video of going to Michael's Arts and Crafts to fix their bear set?
I want to see that video.
Yeah, somebody send us the link to that. We'll watch it sometime.
I'll watch.
For me, the Saw movies, I have no interest really. I mean, I'm thinking we may eventually do something because it is the 20th anniversary of the first Saw movie. But just general interest for me, not involving a show, I never want to watch those movies ever again. So I wouldn't ever buy a Saw box set anyway.
I probably won't buy a Saw box set just because I'm not a fan of buying box sets on movies that are just that keep going. So like if there was an end all be all, and like maybe when they did Jigsaw, if they said, hey, this is kind of a new transition we're going to go with, and they started doing sequels to that, I probably would have bought the box set and just said, okay, at least these are all the Saws, they're done. But I would hate to buy a box set and then all of a sudden like another one come out, and now and another no one after that comes out, and then you just feel like you've got like half the set or whatever. I'm kind of over that. But when it comes to the rewatch value, I literally have not watched the Saw movies, at least the middle sequels, since they probably came out on DVD. So I've probably only seen those movies maybe twice, because I did see them all in theater. And I actually was really excited about that era of horror. When that was coming out, my friends and I made a big thing of it, and I had a great time. And I actually have said recently to somebody that I want to go back and watch them, because I literally remember nothing besides like the first one, and then the second one with like the needles and the person jumped in or whatever. Like all those middle ones where they started introducing like the girl, and then there was like that cop guy involved. Like that all runs together for me. Like I don't remember much about it, so I actually wouldn't mind going back and seeing like which ones technically were better than others, because I really, it's a big blend to me.
When you got that, when they brought in Constance Mandalore, or whatever the hell that guy's name is, that's when like I can't remember a single thing that happened after he.
And then Flannery came in for a while. Remember that he was a big part of it after that, and then Donnie Wahlberg was in it.
Yeah,
at points.
I know he was like, in it. He was in like one of the later ones, but I can't remember.
Betsy Russell, baby, Betsy Russell.
They brought her back, act like that was a big deal. Yeah,
she's been all right. I have no issues with her being on.
No, I love Betsy Russell.
Heavens to Betsy.
The only scene I remember from any of those movies is that scene where they got him on the autopsy table and they found like a SD card in his balls.
It was in his urethra Franklin, man. Get it right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Saw X, but people say it's good. I have never seen it.
I can't remember the last one that I've seen because they all run together for me. I don't think I saw the one with Chris Rock in it, whatever one that is.
Spiral.
That's Spiral, yeah.
May have been. Is there two movies called Jigsaw now, or is there just one?
I think it was one, and then it's Spiral, and then whatever the new one, Saw X. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but it's been a very fun show tonight. These shows are always fun because it just gives us a reason to talk about a bunch of movies, and the chat has been insane all night.
That's been awesome. So fun.
Over 200 people in here for the majority of this show tonight for almost 2 hours. The next thing that me and Uncle Bill are doing, we're doing a series of shows this summer on slasher movies. And the rules are, they are slasher films that we have never reviewed on the show before. So the first setup, speaking of Betsy Russell, baby, the one that I picked, it has Betsy Russell, Lucinda Dickey, if you will.
Ooh.
How you pronounce her name? Terry Weigel?
I don't know.
Before she was tainted. Leif Garrett.
What?
Cheerleader camp.
Yeah, cheerleader camp.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've seen that in many years. I watched it the other night. Very excited to talk about that one. What one you got, Uncle Bill, for this show?
Well, it's got a brand new edition. I'll give you a hint. It has the absolute strongest javelin thrower in the history of any horror film.
Is it Fatal? Is that a Fatal movie?
Vinegar Syndrome's Fatal Games.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Good ones.
You know what Terry Weigel's tainted by, Jackson Jack.
Don't act like you don't know.
So that's coming up on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. These are going to be structured a little different than what we normally do. And like I said, slasher reviews, each show, 2 that we have never reviewed before. So this is the debut one. Looking forward to it. And then a week from tonight, we are doing, as Carter Derdention requested, he's trying to torture the shit out of us, Sequelitis episode, Uncle Bill. And I've already watched one of these movies, and good Lord almighty. Alien 3 from 1992. And then I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear what you got to say about I Spit on Your Grave. Deja vu.
Listen. I think.
Are you allowed to do that?
No.
Oh, the deja vu.
Yeah, it's a.
Okay.
There are people that have, they cover the I Spit on Your Grave series completely. You know what I mean? It's complete
detail. Yeah,
it's
thorough.
The detail is amazing. It's outstanding. We could never compete with that. So I really dread watching I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu because I keep trying to put it off like more and more because.
Have you ever watched it, Garrett? Do you have it?
No, I don't have it. No.
Did you know it's 2.5 hours?
It's like a Marvel movie.
I swear to God. I'm not
Why
lying.
does that movie need to be 2.5 hours?
It doesn't. I don't think that he hired an editor.
Summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Deja vu.
It's like a.
You get David Fincher to direct it. Like, what is the deal?
One thing that I'll say, right, is it is at least almost captivating. It's like if you see a car crash or something and you're like, oh God, but you don't want to turn away. That's I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu. I would love to see Rambo review that. Speaking of which, I was watching, one of my favorite things to do at work after I watch a movie, like a shitty movie like Alien 3 that I know that Rambo's reviewed, I'll watch one of his reviews. And he is gone. It looks like he's getting ready to have a fucking aneurysm, and he's busted a VHS tape with a fucking bat of Alien 3. It's so great.
He really doesn't like that movie. Yeah.
There's not much to like about
it. There he is. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
Rambo, what's up?
Yeah, he mentioned it earlier that he's watched that movie before, but not much since. So
I think him and Mark actually did a commentary over that movie. So if anybody wants to hear that, I'm sure that's amazing. How much they love that movie.
Yeah.
Skiller, dude.
But yeah, guys, it's been fun. We will have to do some more shows like this. I think we've got some really cool ideas coming up, which we don't want to mention, I don't guess, because somebody else will do it. You know how it goes.
Yeah, they really will.
But been fun. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely like both videos. Go to subscribe to both channels. And we will catch you guys next time. BornToBeRad.com and, of course, DeadPit.com. Give us the thumbs up.
Up you butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification. Right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I don't care. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that now.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. Click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last South on the left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.
We ain't